Early dating should feel exciting, but let's be honest, for a lot of men it becomes an emotional minefield pretty quickly. You meet someone new, you have a great time, and suddenly your brain turns into a detective, analyzing every emoji, every pose, every shift and tone. Did she lose interest? Did I say something wrong? Or am I overthinking everything? If this sounds familiar, take a breath. You are definitely not alone. Modern dating almost sets you up to overthink. And today we are going to break down exactly why men do this, how it slowly kills the connection, and what you can do to stay calm, grounded, and confident. Hi, I am Margo, and welcome back to Keep Calm Margo. Let's get into this. Part 1. The uncertainty phase creates anxiety. One of the biggest triggers for overthinking is simple: uncertainty. Early dating is full of unknowns. You don't know how she feels, you don't know where things are going, you don't have security, clarity, or context yet. And because there is no clear structure, your brain does what human brains hate. It sits into limbo. Uncertainty naturally creates anxiety, and men tend to convert that anxiety into analysis. So your mind tries to regain control by reading into everything. How long did she take to respond? What did that emoji mean? Was she less enthusiastic today? Suddenly, tiny meaningless details feel like clues to some bigger truth. But here's the thing, in early dating everything is ambiguous. She might be busy, she might be tired, she might be unsure, or she might be completely into you and just not glued to your phone. The discomfort isn't actually about your behavior, it's about your brain trying to predict an outcome you can't predict yet. The truth is, early dating is supposed to be unclear. You are both figuring out who you are, what you want, and whether the connection actually fits your real lives, not just your first impressions. You don't need to read every signal, you just need to stay curious, present, and grounded enough to let the story unfold naturally. Part 2. Past rejection creates hypervigilance. Another major reason men overthink early dating is because of old wounds. Rejection, ghosting, being blindsided, or having someone disappear right when things felt promising. Those experiences don't just hurt, they rewire your nervous system. Your brain becomes alert, sometimes overly alert, hypervigilant. You begin scanning for danger signs that don't even exist because your body is trying to protect you before you get hurt again. A short text suddenly feels like a warning. A few hours without a reply feels like abandonment. A natural shift in tone feels like rejection. But here is the key: it's not her causing the reaction, it's your past. A 2016 study from the University of Illinois exampled how past romantic rejection affects emotional processing. Researchers studied 100 adults who had recently experienced breakups or emotional withdrawal. Participants were shown ambiguous social cues, neutral facial expressions, delayed responses, vague messages, and were asked to interpret them. Those with a history of rejection consistently misread neutral signals as negative, concluding that others were disinterested even when no rejection was actually present. This is actually how overthinking begins. Your brain reacts to memories, not reality. The key here is reminding yourself, this person is not my past, they have not hurt me, I can respond to what's real, not what I'm afraid of. Part 3. You interpret ambiguity as rejection. Now, let's talk about a sneaky cognitive pattern: catastrophizing. In cognitive psychology, catastrophizing means that when something is ambiguous, your brain jumps straight to the worst possible scenario. Not because you are dramatic, but because you are emotionally invested. When you like someone, your brain raises the stakes, so suddenly a short text equals she's over it, a slower reply equals she's losing interest, a different tone equals she's done, a busy day equals she's avoiding you. But none of these things necessarily signal rejection, they are simply normal fluctuations in human behavior. When you zoom out, you'll see what actually matters. Does she keep showing up? Does she make time for you? Is she consistent? Does she follow through on what she says? Cognitive psychology explains that when emotions are high, the brain becomes terrible at interpreting nuance. You start connecting dots that don't belong together because the emotional part of your brain is louder than the rational one. This is why you must shift your focus from individual moments to overall patterns. One changed behavior means nothing, a repeated pattern means everything. Part 4. You are seeking validation, not connection. Here is the hard truth that many men don't realize. Overthinking isn't always about her. Sometimes it's about seeking reassurance. When you like someone, it's so easy to slide into a validation-seeking mindset. Does she like me? Did I say the right thing? What can I do to make her choose me? But when your attention is fully on gaining her approval, you unintentionally put her on a pedestal, and that creates pressure, not connection. Behavioral psychology calls this contingent self-worth. Your confidence becomes dependent on someone else's reaction instead of coming from within. Women can feel the shift immediately. Your energy becomes anxious, reactive, overly accommodating, or too eager to please. The cure is simple but powerful. Shift the question. Not does she like me, but do I like how I feel when I'm with her? When you see dating as a two-way process, not a performance, your whole energy changes. You become more grounded, more authentic, and more balanced. And trust me, that is far more attractive than trying to guess what she wants to hear. Part 5. Modern dating amplifies overthinking. Dating today creates a perfect storm for overthinking. Instead of getting to know someone naturally, you are surrounded by digital fragments of their life that feel meaningful even when they aren't. A single scroll shows updates, posts, comments, likes, stories, all these little signals that your mind turns into clues. Because of that constant access, it's easy to build a story in your head that has nothing to do with what's happening between you two. A viewed story starts to look like interest. No reply feels like rejection. A random post becomes a hint about how she feels. But none of that actually tells you anything real. Your brain fills the gaps because it hates uncertainty, and modern dating gives it endless gaps to fill. That's why boundaries with online checking matters so much. When you stop tracking the digital noise, you finally have the space to pay attention to how she shows up in real life. Her tone, her effort, her consistency, the connection you feel when you talk. Real clarity becomes from conversation and presence, not algorithms. The more you anchor yourself to the person instead of the screen, the less room overthinking has to take over. Part 6. Overthinking makes you appear less confident. Overthinking doesn't only drain you, it subtly changes how you show up. When your mind is busy analyzing, you are no longer present. Your attention shifts inward, and that affects everything about your energy. You pause too long, hesitate before speaking, lose your neutral humor, and your body language tightens. Even if you are usually confident, overthinking makes you feel like you are performing instead of connecting. And that shift is noticeable. People can sense when someone isn't fully in the moment. It's not insecurity, it's distraction. You are trying to manage the situation instead of experiencing it, and that creates a subtle tension. Presence is what confidence actually looks like. When you pull yourself out of your thoughts and back into your body through movement, deep breathing, stepping outside, anything physical, your mind resets. You connect with yourself and your natural ease returns. Confidence isn't the absence of doubts, it's staying grounded even when doubt is here. That grounded presence is what makes a woman feel comfortable around you. Part 7. The cure: clarity and self-trust. The real cure for overthinking isn't trying to decode your every move, it's strengthening your relationship with yourself. Most spirals come from fear, not from your behavior. Fear of disappointment, fear of being blindsided, fear of repeating the past. When you trust that you can handle whatever happens, you stop needing instant reassurance. You stop chasing signs. You stop gripping the outcome so tightly. Dating becomes lighter because you are not trying to control every step. You are letting the connection unfold. Self-trust creates emotional stability. It helps you stay genuine instead of performing. It lets you place yourself, observe how someone treats you, and choose slowly instead of rushing into fear-based conclusions. And here's the truth. Women feel that steadiness. A man who can sit with the uncertainty without spiraling feels grounded, not detached. He knows his worth and he knows he'll be okay regardless of the outcome. Clarity arrives with time, not analysis. When you trust yourself, the need to overthink fades, and dating becomes something you experience, not something you try to outthink. Outro. So that's all I have for this one. If you found it helpful or eye-opening, give it a like. It really supports the channel. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe for more videos every week. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever overthought early dating signals? What helped you get out of your head? Your insights help other men more than you realize. Thank you as always for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!